Well, there are a number of reasons for that. Journalism would mean that I have to overcome certain inadequacies of my own character. I'm not very good with going out and talking to people, while fiction means I can sit down and contemplate something. Though I do have to overcome for the purposes of my books. I have to go out and talk to people, but that isn't my natural thing. For the writing of The Wasted Vigil, my previous novel, I talked to upwards of 200 Afghanistani refugees in England, because I never thought I would be given a visa to go to Afghanistan, but eventually I was given a visa. So I did go. And I think fiction, I'm not one of those people, I'm just talking about it on the panel, that I'm not one of those people who believe that that the most interesting kind of literature at the moment is non-fiction. And you hear that in the Western world a lot, that the novel has lost its way, that the novel has sort of done its work. And I think that is perhaps the case for a number of writers, because for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, systematically in the West, people have been told that a novel isn't supposed to engage with the world in a proper way, that politics doesn't really belong in the novel, ideas don't really belong in the novel, and that a writer shouldn't be responding to the world, to the immediate world, in fiction. And I think, but from our part of the world, we never believed that. We always knew that fiction can take in politics, fiction can take in. And it's not our part of the world. Look at what the writers in the past, Dickens, Hardy, Dostoevsky, Tolstoy, these people were actually talking about the issues that were around them. And so, for me, for you to ask the question, why fiction? I mean, my answer would be, why not fiction? I don't see what it can't do. I can only talk about the kind of novels I write, which is my intention always is to build a character from the ground up and to show you what the childhood was like, what his or her favorite color is, what the favorite food is, what his school experiences were like, what the first job was, and then take that character away and torture him. Then the reader will feel it, because we have lived with that person for so long that we have come to know them. Not only that, then I create another character who knows the original character. So now we not only feel the pain of the person being tortured, we also feel the pain of the person who has to watch the torture and can't do anything about it. It's like looking at a crucifixion by Giotto. So we have the crucified Christ, but at the bottom of the cross we have Mary, we have the mother, we have Mary Magdalene, we have John the Baptist, we have not only the dying man but his friends. So, and all of that is being watched by us. And I think that, for me, fiction is one way of, is the best way, given my temperament, given my talents where they lie. That is what I can bring to it. Well, maybe I should say that the kind of novels I write, because I frequently don't understand what is going on in the world, but I'm impacted by the events that are happening. I'm living in the world where jihad is taking place. I'm living in the world where the war on terror is taking place. I am from Pakistan. I live in England. The terrorist attacks happen there. I'm an immigrant, and so the conversation about colour is part of my life. I'm an Englishman, but I'm a funny kind of Englishman, to borrow Hanif Qureshi's phrase. So I can't be equivocal about anything, because and I think again it becomes my own character, that I can't really ignore. One of the things I noticed about all my novels is that when I wrote my first novel, and that decision was made without my knowing, was that there is no one viewpoint. It is about 7 or 8 characters. One event is being looked at from 7 different viewpoints. It's the same with my second novel, third novel, and now the fourth novel. I'm never interested in one viewpoint, and I always want to bring in other. And my own self-description is always when people say, "Who are you?" When somebody asks me, we have to put something in the catalogue copy. Who are you? Tell us quickly. And the only thing I could think of was, well, I am my father's son, I am my mother's son, I am my brother's brother, I am my neighbor's neighbor, I am my lover's lover. I always begin with someone else and walk towards me, if you know what I'm saying. I am never at the center. That awful phrase of Mrs. Thatcher's in the 80s, that there is no such thing as society. No, the only thing is society. And again, people quote it a lot. Hell is other people. And I wrote about that in Maps for Lost Lovers, when a character says, she thinks I misheard that. What he means is heaven is other people. What else is there but other people? What is the novel for? That I come from a society, I have knowledge of a society where writers and artists have always commented on the world. The wonderful line of Praveen Shakar, that, to refer to autumn as autumn is not an act of treachery towards the garden. This is the job of the artist. That literature is a public act. It's a political act. And that is why writers have frequently got into trouble with those in power. There's that wonderful poem by Czeslaw Milosz, who wrote about Stalin. After Osip Mandelstam died in Stalin's prison, he said that you who wronged a simple man, bursting into laughter at the crime, kept a pack of fools around you to mix good with evil, to blur the line. Do not feel safe. The poet remembers. You can kill one, but another is born. The words are written down, the deed, the date. So that is what I'm trying to do in my work, to write down the deed and the date, to say to the powerful people in the world, to the wicked people in the world, you think you got away with it, and it looks as though you got away with it. Mandelstam died, right? But not in here. Here you will be put on trial, and here you will be judged, and also in the pages of the book. That is the intention. When J.M. Coetzee's novel Life and Time of Michael K. was published, it was reviewed in the New York Times by Cynthia Oze, and she began with a beautiful line. She said that the literature of conscience is about the bewilderment of the naive, that the people who we consider defective, the weak, people who are on the margins, people who ask the question, why? Why is the world this way? So this is my attempt. My books are an attempt, I don't know how successful they are, to produce the kind of literature of conscience, the literature of compassion, the literature of consolation, which are really conscience, compassion, consolation. They are just another word for love, really. But Victor Hugo said that not being heard is no reason for remaining silent. If it hurts, you're going to cry out. It's and I'm not a publisher. I can't really think of how to market books, etc. As a writer, I think that a writer doesn't even have need for publication. You are doing it because it is the most important thing that you have to do. And beyond that, how anything is taken up by the world, I really don't know. And the responses can be different from different parts of the world. When a year and a half ago the manuscript of The Blind Man's Garden was finished, It was sent to my regular publishers around the world. It was sent to England, America, Brazil, Spain, France, Germany. And this was the first time we were getting publishers in India. So it was also sent to India and Pakistan. Through India, it went to Pakistan. The response invariably from Western publishers was, this is a dark book, this is a bleak book, this is a savage book, this is a brutal book. The response invariably from India and Pakistan was, this is a beautiful book, this is a lovely book, this is an exquisite book, this is a gorgeous book. Now this is not to say that over here in the developing world we are not aware of our darkness, because the darkness was mentioned by the publishers in India and Pakistan, but it was a second or third thing. Just as the beauty was mentioned by the Western publishers, that was the second or third thing. It just depends on what you are focusing on. What do you see when you look at India and Pakistan and Bangladesh? If you live here, it is part of a survival mechanism as well, that if a bomb has gone off down that street and I have to take my child to school, now either the child is not going to school, or tomorrow you're going to say, today something will be fine. Today, let me just walk down that street because a bomb will not go off on that street. Because what is the alternative? You won't be able to get out of bed. You know, so then you do choose to focus on the beauty of a small flower. Then you do choose to focus on a piece of music, and then you take consolation from those things, and you go on.